Fast food workers are misunderstood. I know this because, well, I myself am a fast food worker, and I've just been observing some things that have been taking place recently. At first, I thought this misunderstanding was due to, well, people miscommunicate stuff all the time. And, it happens. People have a bad day, they'll take it out on, of course, the people who serve them food, because the only thing that you can do standing in the drive-thru is smile and laugh at them after they go away because they're so stupid. I think that the issue is actually much more deeper than it might seem on surface level. I wasn't thinking about this a whole lot until the other day when I was working in the drive-thru, and it was just a beautiful day outside, right? The sun was shining down and the air was just all fresh, and I'm in the window there, and I'm just thinking, man, I want to be outside so bad. It's so nice out there. Well, the interesting thing is I actually got my wish because probably half an hour into my day, there was a blackout, and like I was there taking cash and looking at my screen, and I look back at it and it's black. It's just gone, and the camera, the visual I have of the cars coming through the drive-through, that's black. Everything's gone. The lights are out, and I'm like, oh, well, we have a blackout. The thing is, this thing killed the whole store. Even our grills were down, so we couldn't cook any food. And if you're in the business that serves food and you can't cook food, then, well, you get the picture. You can't do business. So they send me out to the drive-through lanes to stand out there because we have no other way of talking to the people who come to the drive-through. And so I was basically telling people that they couldn't come into the drive-through. I'm standing out there, and this lady drives up to me, and I'm like, sorry, ma'am. The drive-thru's down. Our store is down. It'll be a couple hours before we're up again. And she looks at me and she goes, she's just an older lady, really kind. But she says, oh, I'm so sorry. That's gotta really suck for you. I'm looking at her, and I didn't say anything, of course I have to be polite. That's my job, is to pretend like I like you. I mean, I get paid for doing basically nothing and enjoying myself. And I mean, I'm thinking this is probably the best day I've had since I started that job. And I'm thinking, how would she think this sucks for me? The only way that this lady could think that I would not enjoy myself is if I was a vampire. Now, I'm not a vampire, but this got me thinking maybe there's a public idea out there that I'd never heard of before where people, maybe they don't even realize it, but maybe it's like a subconscious level where people suspect fast food workers of being vampires. Now, at first, I'm thinking, well, this is ridiculous. But then it's kind of scary because even though I'm not a vampire, what if I'm working with a couple of vampires? And yeah, it's not a very hopeful future if that's the case. So I did a little bit of investigation to see if there's any legitimacy to this idea, and the results are kind of scary. Starting off with, let's look at the product that they sell. Now, vampires, to stay alive, need to feed on human blood. They need humans to survive, and fast food is fast food. Well, it's usually fast. Sometimes, there's problems, but it provides food, and it also it's not just food. It's food that makes people very, very large. You go, okay, so they give you unhealthy food, but no. See, listen. We have basically two kinds of people who work with us. And there's two kinds of customers too. There are the kinds of workers who have been working for a couple years and are probably going to work a couple more years, and you just see them every day. But then you also have a really large crowd of people who come in, work a couple weeks, and you never see them again. A couple months, whatever. People in and out. And you never see them again. You go, well, what happened to them? Well, what if these are the ones that the vampires in the store are feeding on? And you don't see them again because, well, they've been eaten. Or at least their blood's been sucked and then the body buried and discarded in some other fashion. Either way, it's not a promising notion, but it happens, and it's just part of life. And you just got to go on and say, well, I got to be extra careful, don't walk down in dark alleys, and I might get away with this. Oh, look, this is a vampire right here, and that's actually not. It's a Shih Tzu pug mutt that our family bought, but she just jumped up on the couch, and she's not supposed to be here, but I'm going to let her be on film anyway. Her name's Cleo. Oh yeah, vampires. So, I was looking at the McDonald's arches, and these things are just glowing yellow. Looks like a shape of an M, but look at this. If you turn the M over, it looks roughly like a W, and it also looks very similar to vampire fangs. That is scary. Then you also have Wendy's, and their mascot is, you know, of course, that girl with red hair, looks kind of like Pippi Longstocking, and you know, they want to attract you in because they want customers, so they put out this innocent-looking figure. But I think if people really understood the history of who she really is, they'd be kind of scared as well, because she, in fact, was a vampire who really... She came up with the idea of creating the fast food industry. She was the first vampire, at least of the fast food vampires, and that's how she founded Wendy's. She got a couple people together, or a couple of her vampire buddies, and they started this chain. And then, of course, you got Burger King, and, well, I mean, they're the king of burgers. Oh, have you ever realized how ridiculous that sounds? Like, okay, I can make a hamburger and, set up my kingdom of hamburgers, set them on a table somewhere, and put a crown on myself and say, listen, these are my subjects. And you know what? What's that going to do? I can't tax them. They're not going to make me any money. And if I let them sit there too long, they're just going to get old and gross. And, yeah, that's some kingdom. But no, see, there's a deeper message in that, and that is, and they got this relationship where the vampires produce the burgers that they give to the customers, and the customers just take them, not knowing that they're really being fed by vampires, who will someday hunt them down and suck their blood. That's why fast food exists. They're all owned by vampires who seek out the individuals who are oblivious to the truth. Now that I've understood this truth here, I have really been looking for a new job, but I'm trying to keep this low, because if the vampires that I work for ever find out, I'm going to be their next target. But what else can I do, because I'm going to be their target sooner or later anyway. Who knows, maybe I'll be a vampire in a couple days. Yikes.